This is Waterloo Classics, October 2025, a completely informal gathering behind the station. There are a lot of Rolls Royce there this month.
Oh my god, this is awesome!
Marianne loves driving her, yeah.
Hey, how are you? It's good to see you. But it's still got a leathery smell in it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the Lotus Europa you're about to see later. Let's do the Rolls Royce first. Gone from a status symbol to wedding car to surprisingly affordable and easy to run classics, I understand now. This is a two-door Corniche that makes me think of Dirty Rotten Scoundrals, a fantastic film. Again, I know it's not the right type, but for some reason this reminded me of Kermit the Frog and the Muppet movie revival when they drag him out of his mansion and they get the band back together again. I'll put links in the description to these films.
And you don't have that proof that, and he said, it's the only one I can't find, and I said, I'm not getting it.
You'll end up paying top money for it and it won't be worth it. Of course.
Long wheelbase Mercedes S-Class, arguably best car in the world. But next to these, it just looks like a mini cab. I mean, just look at the size of this. It's something that royalty would be carried around in. That was a 6-cylinder Triumph Herald estate, Vitesse estate. I'll talk about those later, but first, let's just have a peep in the back of this. I remember those having so much space it would have a pop-up footrest. That one doesn't. There's so much space in these that not only might you have a footrest, but there's space for a whole other row of seats in there, like London taxi cabs used to have. It's a Daimler, not a Rolls Royce. No idea quite what the history was. It did like that proper hand-painted coach line, got a pennant on. Now this reminds me of the Italian Job. If you're a regular, I'm usually wearing that orange jacket, so come and say hello. This is one of the regulars. It's a Mahari, which is a 2CV with this glass fibre body on the top, so it's a bit like a mini Moke would be for us. In London, surprisingly practical because the weather in London's pretty mild. Lovely thing. We ran a 1987 Mercedes for 18 years. Being able to replace the bumpers without having to paint them is a boon. Same with the mirror caps. Body coloured stuff obviously adds to the expense.
Selling records, doing that kind of thing.
I've never had one of these small Triumphs, but they are very tempting as a classic proposition. Links in the description below. But because they couldn't get access to big press machinery, they built it on a separate chassis and made a virtue of it, where they could do estates and convertibles and things very easily, and indeed a coupe. On the limit handling, not great, but if you're just bimbling around over speed humps up and down the motorway, really good. This is the 2-litre 6-cylinder that you saw and heard earlier. There was a smaller 6-cylinder, various 4-cylinders. They also shared their chassis with a Triumph Spitfire and a Triumph GT6. The later ones had slightly different suspension arrangements. As with many classic cars, panel fit and paint is way better than what it left for factory. They're also not very rigid, so panels will shake and chatter and rub against each other. The dashboards are always lovely in these separate instruments. I love those sprung wheels. They often have an overdrive on as well, which is a feature I like. Something else they're known for is an amazingly good steering lock. I've got links below to a film when they were launched, when apprentices assembled one on the stage in the Royal Albert Hall. It just takes a couple of minutes. They also did a big proving run across Africa. So I mean, they are very tough, very easy to work on as well, so a whole bonnet flips. It's the estate I'd like, and dreamt through the ideal specification of what Spitfire engine and rear axle and so on. Austins of the era hold the road much better, completely rigid shell. A guy called Alan Dove has a go-karting website, and he's remembering that James Hunt's favourite car was one of these. He used to go roaring around London at absolute 10/10ths. These also do very well racing at Goodwood, so real giant killers. A link to Alan's video below. My great aunt Ella had a Riley Elf, like this little burgundy one on the left. It's a Mini with a boot and a posh Riley grille and a really nice interior. They hold the road like a Mini, and again can be tuned like a Mini Cooper. So a real little pocket rocket, a lot of interior space. Rust the issue compared with the small chassis Triumphs. A good friend really wanted a Ford Capri. I think he had very happy memories of one that a school friend's mum had. He found they were so expensive that he ended up buying a 21st century Aston Martin V8 instead, which is surprisingly affordable because I made a lot of them. This Maserati is another one that's going to be cheaper than a Ford Capri. I'm not in a position to run any sort of classic at the moment, but I'd feel on much safer ground with something older without all the computers and gizmos. This Fiat was lovely as well. Beautiful car. I had a Fiat Coupe a long time ago, like 30 years ago, with the same engine. It was 5-speed gearbox, disc brakes all round. These days a nice easy to look after small chassis Triumph appeals a lot more. That Jaguar was a V12. Our day-to-day car is a 1 litre 3-cylinder, so it's 4 of those engines and a bigger capacity even than all 4 of those engines together. I saw it leaving, so I'll put a little bit of film in with the exhaust note in a moment. This one has been through a company in London with custom upholstery and the nameplate, I think it's Revival, they call themselves. We'll see it on the seats. Motorbikes have a big appeal. Rode a motorbike in London for 2 weeks. That was enough. But traffic speeds are lower now. I'm really used to riding a bike. It is very tempting. I stood there looking at it for a long time. Just love all the little details on it. No rear suspension on this one. You can see it's separate gearbox. You can see, it's like an exposed view. You can see everything through it. This one's got a hand gear lever, which that knob is next to the petrol tank. Friction dampers, the same as an Austin 7 has, and also a steering damper which you can adjust to stop those tank slappers. Well, I love hearing a little air-cooled twin-cylinder. I can certainly see the merits of an electric conversion of something like that for commuting. It's nice to see, brightens the scene. For an electric conversion for just short runs around London makes sense for something like a Land Rover like that, why not? I'd never noticed 2 wiper motors, one for each wiper before. Love the really basic seats, other than to sit on, of course. Like the cord-bound steering wheel. I mean, terrible cars, brilliant cars, people are so fond of them. Again, another fantastic piece of design. Make a lot of sense in any city. More and more so as the speed limits come down. So much of London's now 20. So the Rolls-Royce weren't necessarily the biggest cars there. Just look at the size boot, look at the chrome. When we look round the front, the headlights are hidden behind covers. I think it was an Eldorado. The vinyl roof took me back as well. Oh, what a lovely thing to sit in. I'd like to have to park it. I mean, the Jaguar looks so compact next to it. Truck Stag sounds beautiful when you hear one go by. I haven't got one to listen to today, unfortunately. This MGB is quite special. I think Costello put V8s into them before the factory did. There's all sorts of little detailed differences. Look at the big bonnet bulge, love the wheels on it. Two of these very early Lotus Europas were there. They've got a Renault front wheel drive engine and gearbox in the back. I think it's Triumph Herald front suspension. I've attached links to a road test, and also Wheeler Dealers did a restoration of one, so there's a little summary of that, and you can see the separate chassis and how the glass fibre body lifts off the top. They are tiny, and an MGB is small next to any modern car, so it's hard really to get an idea of the scale other than seeing some quite normal people standing next to them and it being barely elbow high. On today's roads, the older car with its skinny little tyres and tiny engine appeals much more than one of those. Obviously extremely capable. This Porsche, what I call a 911, is owned by quite a young guy. Nothing major's gone wrong, but all the niggles like aircon leaks and things have been a nuisance. But he's putting the miles on it and enjoying it as an only car. The issue really is in London, all of the railway arch type garages. It's all cheesemongers, and the little units have been turned into massive tower blocks. So finding someone to look after them is the big challenge. But it's nice seeing so many out.